morning, amazing souls. How are you? We hope you're really well. Here from Tasmania, Arlena, and then from in the middle of the universe, Mr. Alf, who I'm glad to
Hi
introduce for who
everyone.
doesn't know. For who doesn't know Mr. Alf, he's one of my best friends and one of the most hilarious people I know. So I've been, trust me, I'm a doctor. I know it all. Um, so we're doing this video because for a while I've been called to read stories. And I found this book at a friend's house that is called Politically Correct Bedtime Stories. Now, neither me or Alfonso are politically correct people. We don't sugarcoat things, we don't waste time being offended, but we did find these stories quite funny. And, when you sit with them, it gives you a lot to think to, where society is headed and where we are at, really. So we wanted to entertain you for a little bit and share this book with you, who is, by the way, by James Finn Garner, if you want to look that up or you're interested in the book. So, did you want to add anything, Alfonso, before we start?
Yes. Why don't we just start?
Ah, that's a great idea. So the first story of this beginning, it's gonna be Little Red Riding Hood, hence the hat. And here we are. Hope you're all prepared and ready. There once was a young person named Red Riding Hood who lived with her mother on the edge of a large wood. One day, her mother asked her to take a basket of fresh fruit and mineral water to her grandmother's house, not because this was woman's work, mind you, but because the deed was generous and helped engender a feeling of community. Furthermore, her grandmother was not sick, but rather was in full physical and mental health and was fully capable of taking care of herself as a mature adult. So Red Riding Hood set off with her basket through the woods. Many people believed that the forest was a foreboding and dangerous place and never set foot in it. Red Riding Hood, however, was confident enough in her own budding sexuality that such obvious Freudian imagery did not intimidate her. On the way to Grandma's house, Red Riding Hood was accosted by a wolf, who asked her.
What are you carrying in that basket?
She replied, "Some helpful snacks for my grandmother, who is certainly capable of taking care of herself as a mature adult." The wolf said,
You know, my dear, it isn't safe for a little girl to walk through these woods alone.
Red Riding Hood said, "I find your sexist remark offensive in the extreme, but I will ignore it because of your traditional status as an outcast from society, the stress of which has caused you to develop your own entirely valid worldview. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must be on my way." Red Riding Hood walked on along the main path. But because his status outside society has freed him from slavish adherence to linear Western style thought, the wolf knew a quicker route to Grandma's house. It burst into the house and ate Grandma, an entirely valid course of action for a carnivore such as himself. Then, unhampered by rigid traditionalist notions of what was masculine or feminine, he put on Grandma Knight's clothes and crawled into bed. Red Riding Hood entered the cottage and said, "Grandma, I have brought you some fat-free, sodium-free snacks to salute you in your role of a wise and nurturing matriarch." From the bed, the wolf said softly,
Come closer, child, so that I might see you.
Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, I forgot you are as optically challenged as a bat. Grandma, what big eyes you have."
They have seen much and forgiven much, my dear.
"Grandma, what a big nose you have. Only relatively, of course, and certainly attractive in its own way."
It has smelled much and forgiven much, my dear.
"Grandma, what big teeth you have."
I am happy with who I am and what I am.
And he leaped out of bed. He grabbed Red Riding Hood in his claws, intent on devouring her. Red Riding Hood screamed, not out of the alarm for the wolf's apparent tendency towards cross-dressing, but because of his willful invasion of her personal space. Her screams were heard by a passing woodchopper person or log fuel technician, as he preferred to be called. When he burst into the cottage, he saw Melida and tried to intervene, but as he raised his axe, the Red Riding Hood and the wolf both stopped.
And just what do you think you're doing?
Asked the wolf. The woodchopper person blinked and tried to answer, but no words came to him. Bursting in here like a Neanderthal, trusting your weapon to do your thinking for you, she exclaimed. Sexist! Speciesist! How dare you assume that women and wolves cannot solve their own problems without men's help? When she heard Red Riding Hood in passionate speech, Grandma jumped out of the wolf's mouth, seized the woodchopper person's axe, and cut his head off. After this ordeal, Red Riding Hood, Grandma, and the wolf felt a certain commonality of purpose. They decided to set up an alternative household based on mutual respect and cooperation, and they lived together in the woods happily ever after. Ta-da!
Amazing. What a beautiful ending, eh?
So, I hope you enjoyed it. We do wish you enjoyed it. This was for your entertainment. Do you wish to share your thoughts, Alfonso, on this marvelous story?
Yes, I want to clarify that I did brush my teeth. But talking about the story, like personally, I really like this way of making irony of things. This societal language that it's changing, to be more respectful, polite, politically correct. Although I don't fully agree with some of those concepts behind, but I think the author really showcased, some quirk to change the story and the dialogues in this way. I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it quite hilarious too. I mean, it's a bit tragic as well, where society is headed and what has already become of society. Because as I say, we go from one extreme to the other. So right now we need to find the balance. But so apart from your entertainment, a bit on the serious side, we do want to share some questions with you and let us know what comes up for you. But do you get offended? And what is it that offends you? What irks you? And when you sit with that, does it really matter? Is it really important for you to put your energy on whatever is offending you? Like, is it really? So have a think about it, and we love to hear your thoughts on the story. And we hope to bring you this at least once a week. So this is just the genesis, the beginning of it all.
The beginning. Actually, your red hat. I found that really offensive because the story is about a red hood.
Yeah.
But I have to deal with
That's
it.
okay. Just deal with that. You'll get over at some point. That's okay.
Yeah, I'll get over sometime.
Anyway, beautiful people, thank you for watching us. We hope we brought you some joy and some laughter and maybe something to think about. Have a beautiful week, and we'll catch up soon.
Bye, everyone from everywhere.